Hello, and welcome to another edition of It's Time to Lead Different, a podcast designed to have a dialogue, a meaningful and constructive dialogue about what's happening in the world of leadership and the evolving world of work. My name is Colin Daly. I'm the CEO of the Circle Leader and the North American lead for Circle Leadership Global. And today I wanted to have a brief conversation and talk about something that a number of my clients have been dealing with, and that we have been, working to help them work through and facilitate, which I think is actually more prevalent than most entrepreneurs or business owners uh, care to admit, and or who are willing to face. And I kind of want to bring some of those taboo topics, out into the open and have again, as I mentioned, a meaningful conversation about what leadership really looks like and how to evolve that leadership, from the old command and control models that have been so prevalent and so focused on performance management, really getting the highest output you can from the people and the systems and the tools that you've put in place, to a more of a performance leadership model where we actually are helping our people and the systems that support those people to evolve and to become something greater and something bigger and something more effective and efficient through an evolutionary process. And the idea is to help them develop so that your people, and it's our definition of leadership at the Circle Leader and the Circle Leadership Global, which is to help our people become the best versions of themselves so they can do their life's best work while they're in our care and beyond. So really shifting from just focused on performance, the outputs that our team and people can give us, to really helping them to become better versions of themselves, the best versions of themselves they can be, and then also to then translate that into fantastic work that it has some meaning for them. And then the big idea here is to give them the tools so that as they progress in their lives and in their careers, whether that be with us in our teams and our organizations or elsewhere, that they carry those skills and they carry those experiences forward and can actually expand the scope and reach of our leadership, through multiple organizations and across entire industries. Okay, so having said all that, one of the biggest challenges that a lot of my clients really face in this is um, the feeling of being, or the perception of being, sort of not given permission to actually fail. And what I mean by that is that expectations, from investors, expectations from stakeholders and partners, expectations from their team, expectations from their customers and clients, and and expectations from the industry at large, um, kind of put founders and business owners and key leaders in a position where they maybe are isolated and feel like, even though there is grace and there is opportunity for initiatives to specific initiatives maybe to not be as successful, but overall and even in the short term, but overall over even the long term, uh, they're not allowed to actually fail and or to be in a position of vulnerability. So the constant demand to keep up the appearance of total control and total dominance in their vision and their ability to go execute against that vision can sometimes create an inner disconnect and inner stress and anxiety that has nowhere to go. And so a lot of situations pop up where, and I'm seeing this more and more, even this year, where optimism is starting to grow, but along with optimism and activity, comes those additional stressors again. And the question is, how do I keep the pace of as a leader? How do I keep the pace without breaking myself? And as I was just mentioning, some of the things that I see happening are leaders who are struggling with their own internal emotions, feeling like they're isolated and feeling like they can't, they don't have anybody to talk to, or to sound off what's actually happening inside of their own experience, and who have become somewhat detached from their own feelings. And in those scenarios, they become less effective leaders, because if they, if they're so self-focused that that they're just really focused on only their own situation and issues, they really can't see and can't connect with what's happening within their team or within their organization, and they miss opportunities, and that just only serves to exacerbate the problem, and provide them with seemingly evidence that the approach they're taking fundamentally doesn't work. And so internally there's that question, like, I seem to be doing more and more and more, and not getting the results that I think I should be getting, and I feel like these are things that I'm hearing from my clients, and I feel like there's that maybe there's a cliff that I'm headed for that I don't even know about. And so there's that deep, persistent anxiety that causes us to really find uh, sometimes ineffective or unskillful or negative coping mechanisms. Sometimes that results in doubling down on the work that we have to do, picking up even more responsibility, taking over some of the responsibilities from team members or groups within your organization that seemingly can't get the job done. And again, what does that do? But it just continues to compound the problem as you continue to add on more and more. And the realization that we're coming to is that you literally cannot effort your way out of out of a perception problem. And in many cases, some of the big challenges that our client leaders face is that they perceive themselves in a box, when in reality, they have more resources and more tools than they give themselves credit, or that they realize that they have at their disposal. And a couple of things that I wanted to share is just this idea that as the world of work is evolving, there's more and more openness and opportunity for leaders to have conversations with each other, peers, but also cross organizations and within industries, about some of the fundamental challenges of leadership in today's world, and to find outlets where you can actually have a conversation, without putting yourself or your company in a negative position, but you can have conversations with people who are struggling with similar issues. So that's one. And one of the big areas here is to actually consider, if you haven't already, but consider how working with a coach in particular, or a series of coaches, might really help you be able to gain some clarity around your vision, to really articulate and tighten that vision down, really amplify and grow your purpose, but then also help you align your strategy and your planning for how to go accomplish that vision. But then also to maybe focus on areas around your environment. What and how is your team organized, and who do you have in those key roles that that seemingly frustrate and continue to create drama in your world as a leader. And by doing that, again, with a coach, or with a team of coaches, you can actually find ways to internally shift the perception from all negative and all responsibility on your shoulders to a more distributive, collaborative, team oriented model. and again alleviate some of those internal conflicts that create such massive stress. Just as an example, one of my clients last year actually found themselves in the hospital. They worked themselves completely to the bone, and dropped, just completely dropped, had a complete shutdown, and it was actually quite serious. And they ended up spending an entire week in the hospital, and the coming out of the hospital, right? The thought process was, okay, how do I get back to it? And as we were working with this person, really the conversation was, okay, how do you actually uh, delegate and create more collaborative team structures that can help take some of this responsibility off of your plate, and to help you actually extend your own effectiveness, without causing more stress in your world. And what this person was able to do is actually again take pieces of their work and partition it out to other members of the team, which actually gave the other members of his team more responsibility and that sense of ownership. And it actually up-leveled the connection at the leadership level, and has since resulted in a more effective and efficient sales process. So it's actually bounced right to their bottom line. They've been able to see a steady increase of sales, a double-digit increase in sales over the last 12 months. So pretty good. And again, my client has been able to stay out of the hospital, which is fantastic. And they've made a complete recovery and are doing much better. But again, the idea here is not to have to go through that process, but to actually find a way to fall in love with your business again, and to have a sense of inner joy and inner peace, rather than a sense of dread and anxiety and frustration when we think about and we go to work in our business. So again, the idea here, and what I like to convey, is that there are outlets and resources where you can find people and organizations that can help support you, in your effort to build your business. You're not alone, and you have an opportunity to connect with other entrepreneurs, other founders, other business owners who are going through similar challenges, and who maybe even have gone through similar challenges, who can become mentors for you. And one of the big concepts here is that there is no today, in the evolved and evolving world of work that we live in today, emotional connection with your own emotions is the number one skill set that that leaders really need to have. We need to be able to tap into and recognize what it is that's happening within our own system, within our own body, and then be able to respond and instead of just purely react. And we need to actually be able to then translate that awareness into connection with our with the people that we lead, and to help them actually recognize and understand when they're reaching their stress tipping points, and show them through our own example how to actually process that, and to enable and empower those around them to actually collaborate with them, and to create a dynamic evolutionary process within your organization and team. And the idea, again, the promise of this process is that one, you'll enjoy your life. I mean, just think about it. If you could reduce or eliminate the really anxiety-ridden stress levels that wake you up in the middle of the night, keep you at your desk, or keep you at the at the plant, nights and weekends, and during special occasions and anniversaries, and keep you away from everything that gives you joy in your, not everything, but most things that give you some joy, then wouldn't that be something that would be interesting to pursue, if that could actually happen, right? And here I'm here to tell you that it actually does and can happen. In fact, it's part of that. For me, it's part of the the new model of leadership, which is to be awakened, to be open to the idea that energetically, right, we are connected, as human beings, and that we have the opportunity to actually, through our own energetic systems, to raise the level of our consciousness and of our awareness, and to actually, just even by our own recognition and awareness of our emotions and how to process them, and how to actually be aware of the signals that our emotions are giving us, and then to be able to translate that into coaching that can help the people around us. That ultimately, what happens is it raises our level of productivity, and as one of my mantras is that our culture is our brand, and if we can actually build into our culture, into our leadership style, that then bleeds into and drives our culture, our organizational culture. If we can bring this in, then actually what happens is we become more connected and empathetic as a business, as an organization, and that will be attractive to customers. It might also be unattractive to certain types of customers, but think about this. If you could uh, uh, work with twice as many, or work build twice as much value for clients and customers that you really enjoy serving, and that really provide you with and your organization with that positive feedback, and that really are helping you move toward your vision and live out your purpose. um, uh, wouldn't it be worth it to actually let go of those customers and clients that maybe are dragging you down and creating more chaos and drama in your organization, creating more frustration and anxiety, in your personal and inner world as a leader? Wouldn't it be worth actually thinking about how to engineer that, instead of being so focused on, how we, excuse me, get the maximum number of new customers? How about if we focused on building an organization that attracts the maximum number of the right customers? And again, now that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy and a virtuous cycle in and of itself. So, as you're serving customers and clients that you are passionate about serving and helping to solve their problems, and provide real value for them, they are, providing real value for you and your organization, and they're actually spreading the word, and you become a magnetic force in the marketplace. So, when we think about it, really, and drawing the line back from your business growth and your opportunity for continued profit growth, back to this concept of becoming aware of and connected with, and really figuring out and learning how to be responsive to your emotions. There's a direct line, right? And so the call to action that I give you today is to be thinking more about this. It's it's not just about how to not getting in control, but becoming aware and becoming more deeply connected with your own emotional systems and your own emotional responses, and how you are perceiving your workplace, your world, your team, your industry, your customers, etc., is going to actually help improve the lives of all your people, and it's going to improve the lives of your customers, and overall it'll improve your experience of life and of the world. And dare I say, right, if you could have more fun, have more joy, and also make more money and create more value, and build a business that is sustainably growing, and that builds long-term generational value and wealth. That wouldn't that be something that you'd want to pursue? And my call to action to you is to go research some of this. And if you'd like to have a conversation, I would love the opportunity to go deeper with you, talk about some of the skills and strategies and tools that I use with myself, and also with help my clients to implement, to help get a hold of and start to really channel those emotions into leadership rather than into anxiety, frustration, and sleepless nights, and dare I say even hospital stays, which I don't wish on anybody. So, that's my message today. A little bit shorter today, but I wanted to have that conversation and share with you a couple of ideas and give you maybe some inspiration for what is possible. There are many great resources out there on emotional intelligence, but a lot of that is again in service of how to connect with your team members. What I'm suggesting here is first you need to pay attention to your own emotional responsiveness and your own emotional system and how that is organized. And then this like putting on the air, the oxygen mask in the airplane. You need to put it on yourself first before you help others. You as a leader, you need to go first in order so that your team can go further. Really, it's not just about activating your team. It's about building and securing for yourself a better way of life. So leadership is not just about getting the most out of your team, or making the most money, or creating the best exit. Really, it's about doing work that inspires you, doing work that actually creates joy and happiness in your world, and that you can actually spread to your team members and to your customers and to the world at large through that mechanism. So anyway, that's what I wanted to chat with you today about. Thank you so much for watching this video and for participating. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or at the circleleader.us. You can find out more about Circle Leadership Global, and again through all of our social channels. And we'd be happy to serve you in any way that that can help you grow and to continue to evolve your workplace and to live out your purpose and realize your vision. So again, thank you all for being here today, and we will talk to you again soon.